So we just watched season 1, episode 7, Game Over of American Horror Stories.
We did.
Well,
Wow.
I'm confused.
You're confused.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused as well.
I really want to do a spoiler for this one.
Okay.
Because I'm so confused.
We can do a spoiler.
I don't understand.
You don't understand.
I don't understand. So this one was set in the murder house again. It's after the Rubber Woman one, because it's the end of season 1 and Rubber Woman is the start of season 1 of American Horror Stories. And it's about this woman who wants to create a video game in a way to get like closer to her son because he loves American Horror Story. And so she's like basing it on like the characters in the show and like video game and everything. But she goes to the actual house itself to try and get the vibe because the son kind of criticizes the game. He's like, I just don't understand.
You just don't get it, Mom.
You just don't get it, Mom. You don't get the vibe.
You're just not cool.
And he has this whole monologue.
It's just literally like an hour.
She goes to the house, she gets murdered, surprise, surprise. And then, but on Halloween, not that year, the next year, she sees her son, and obviously the son kind of knows what happens. He's like, you know, we only found out we didn't know you were missing for 3 days. We found your body like a week later, you know, because you were obsessed with that game, because you were obsessed with that house, you know. And either way, they end up having a conversation about burning the house to the ground. And so the son comes over and he burns the house to the ground. And Ruby and, what's the main girl's name? Scarlett from the first 2 episodes of season 1 of American Horror Stories are in it. And either way, the house is burning to the ground, and most of the ghosts are really happy about it. They're all going, yay, we'll finally be free. But Ruby's not happy. She's going, you know, you'll be gone, you'll be nothing. And a lot of them are going, nothing's better than this, whatever. But Scarlett shows up and Ruby's going, die with me, because the house is starting to burn to the ground, like.
Yeah.
And Ruby doesn't. I mean, Scarlett doesn't. She, like, turns and walks away. She leaves. And the house burns to the ground. Then condominiums, like, apartments are made on the land where the murder house was.
3 years later or something?
Yeah, 3 years later. And Scarlett buys a house there. She buys one of the apartments, one of the condominiums or whatever. The last one. Because apparently she was an assassin for the past 3 years, so she's, like, really rich now. She could pay $1 million, $1 million, like, in cash for this condominium because she was, like, a paid assassin. So, happy for her, you know? She's living the life now. So Scarlett goes to the house, the condominium or whatever, and Ruby's there. Not at first. Like, at first she's crying, going, Ruby, I miss you and all that stuff. I'm so sorry, I'm too late. I'm ready to spend forever with you now. Either way, she shows up at the end, and then Ruby says, because Scarlett's going, what happened to the rest of the ghosts? And Ruby's like, they moved on. Most of them happily, some of them not so happy. But I stayed here because I knew you'd come back because I love you. And they're like, yay, we're going to spend forever together. But what I do not understand is that the mum in this episode is then with her son, and it's not Halloween. She's just like with her son and he's watching the rest of the video game because apparently she finished making the video game, and this time he's like, oh, it's so great, and you fixed the glitches, and like, oh, it's so great, whatever. And
you're so cool, Mom.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then like they're talking about the fire, so the fire obviously happened, and she's like, yeah, most of them moved on. And he's like, do you think any of them are wandering the earth or whatever? And she's like, I hope not. And then it ends with like the red ball. You remember the creature in Murder House that like has a little red ball that like rolls towards people's feet? That was obviously in their house because the red ball rolls towards one of the chairs once they leave the house. But I don't understand is they're talking about it like as if she's not wandering the earth. She died in that house.
Yeah.
She was murdered in that house.
Like she wanted to move on.
But I thought it was kind of like I thought Ruby stayed in the condominiums because that's where the house used to be, and the rest of them just moved on.
Yeah.
But maybe it was just they were no longer confined to the house. Maybe some of them moved on in the sense of like heaven or hell or whatever, and then some of them moved on, if you believe in that. Some of them moved on to some sort of afterlife, and then some of them just roamed. Maybe she was one of the ones that roamed. But when he asked her, she seemed confused, like as if she didn't know if they could roam. And I'm thinking, well, you just finished your fucking video game and you're talking to a son in a completely different place, so I'm assuming they can. If you can.
Very confusing.
I found it entertaining, and there were certain parts of it I liked, but overall I didn't like it as much as the Rubber Woman or Aura or Dry or some of the other episodes.
I really did enjoy like the first like couple of minutes of it.
Yeah, the first few minutes were actually so fucking funny. It was Noah Cyrus and this guy. I really like Noah Cyrus. Her music's great, and her song plays at the end of the episode, one of her songs, and it's such a good choice of song. Like, I love Noah Cyrus. I love her voice. I love like the timbre of her voice. It's kind of low and it's just, oh, I love her voice. Anyway, but yeah, it's really funny. They're in the house at the start, like the murder house, and
they literally think that they're going to see this attraction where they're just like
it's an escape house.
Yeah, like it's an escape house, you know, like one that you go to. But what they don't realise is it's actually all happening, like it's all real. It's not just like fake. Like there's no, what they think is like that there's speakers around the house like making noises and like
they're like, oh, this is such a great attraction.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my god, did you hear that? that noise. Oh, it could be a speaker.
Oh, this is so well done. This is so cool. Yeah.
This is so well done. And then, like...
It becomes a bit too real for them.
Yeah, it becomes a bit too real for them.
Because it is real.
Yeah, because it is real.
Yeah, and then they get murdered.
Yeah.
But then as they get murdered, it, like, zooms out and it's like, game over!
Yeah.
And it's the woman's game.
Yeah.
And that's how you're introduced to it, and it was actually really fucking funny.
Yeah.
But the kids start criticising, going, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. And in fairness to him... Yeah.
Do you remember the scene?
Oh, yeah. There's a sex scene. If you can call it that. I don't think it lasts long enough to be qualified as a sex scene.
Yeah.
So funny. No, Cyrus and the guy she comes there with, well, she doesn't come, he does, in like 2 pumps. And she's just lying there going, we were both just like, oh no, surely he's not done, like.
Yeah, literally, it wasn't even like 2 seconds.
No, it was so funny. Okay, so this episode, I found it highly entertaining, but I also found it kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your rating for this episode?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
I am going to give it a 6, because I found it quite cringy.
Yeah.
Funny, but quite cringy. Although, the reason it gets like 5 from the 6 points that I gave, those 5 points are purely for Cyrus.
So you just have a crush on Noah Cyrus?
I don't have a crush.
Oh, see how it is. Oh, I see how it is.
Sorry, Paris fucking Jackson, does she get 6 of the 7 points that you put into this?
No, she only gets 5.
Who gets the other 2 then?
Kia, Ruby.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I give it a 6, you give it a
7.
5 for Paris Jackson, 2 for Ruby. You gave all your points to just the 2 people you found hot in it.
No.
Yeah. 5 for Paris Jackson, 2 for Kia, which equals 7, and you gave it 7.
I'll take 1 away from Paris Jackson and give it to the episode, some of the things.
Anyway, that's a review of American Horror Stories, Episode 1, Season 7, Game Over.
Game over.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Woo! I mean, I'm not Paris Jackson, so you're probably not that happy with the Halloween, are you?
Oh my god.
Bye! 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 Bye!